Hey, folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with the final On the Water of the season with Dustin White. Dustin, how are you?
Marvin, I'm doing great. How you doing, my friend?
As always, just trying to stay out of trouble, and you're in the home stretch. You've only got a few weeks left out west, right?
Yep. We're in the home stretch, in a really fun time of year to be guiding. But yeah, the official season is ticking down.
Yeah, and so probably got, I don't know, I think the last time we spoke, you had good dry fly fishing, and the streamer bite was pretty good. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, much of the same thing. We've definitely had cooler mornings right now. So, the overnight lows are dipping down into the 30s. And so early mornings are, very, very crisp, very, very cool. Takes a little bit to get a hatch going. So it's probably mid-morning before you get a really, really decent hatch and start seeing some heads looking up. But, if you're out on the water, they're in all of those surefire spots. You turn the corner, turn that bend, see that soft, corner in the river, that eddy there right at the edge of the seam. Those fish are looking up. Definitely gets better throughout the day. That first kind of hatch we're seeing is primarily Datus. And I would say throughout the day, that's the primary bug they're really keyed on now. As the afternoon temps warm up, they start looking for caddis. So, that I would say in the afternoon, Marvin, is the perfect time to run kind of that tandem dry fly rig of a larger caddis as your point fly, and then running a blue wing off the back. Definitely worthwhile to do that. Fish are a little bit spooky. We're in low, pretty clear water now. So, folks, if you're going to out, need to be able to air out a fairly significant cast on a pretty tight target. But if you do and can kind of keep some distance, those fish are very, very eager to eat. With the streamer game, we're starting to see, again in the morning with those lower temps, they want to slower retrieve, more natural colors, tan, whites, some olives. Although the olive hasn't been quite as productive because we do have a lot of moss breaking free in the water, and so with that slow retrieve, seeing an olive fly, it kind of gets camouflaged into looking like the vegetation floating down river. So sticking with not too obtrusive colors, tans, whites, slow retrieves in the morning, picking them up in the afternoon. Folks are having some pretty good success there in the streamers.
Yeah, so you're saying your trout aren't vegans?
No, not too much. Not unless they have to be.
Well, there you go. Well, before we announce the winner of the drawing, why don't you let folks know our last shout out of the season on the restaurant bar front?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to where you, myself, and our owner Blake Jackson had a few cocktails, and I indulged myself in a pretty significant pork chop, which is Wyoming Ale Works.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, great spot. I mean, killer staff, a variety menu. So if you want to go pretty basic, where it's just kind of burger, wings, you can get that there. If you want to have a great steak or a really fantastic salad, that can definitely suit your fancy. But, very extensive beer menu. Their drafts are great, but also have just a great bar staff that can make a killer cocktail as well. And especially this time of year when we're, fishing through town, east of town, it's a great place of proximity for us to pull off the river, go grab a bite to eat, share a drink with some friends or clients when we get off the water. So Wyoming Ale Works, right on 2nd Street, great spot that we all know and love very well here in Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah, and you're quite partial to the thick cut pork chop, right?
Well, yeah, you go with that bourbon apple chutney that they put on it, and it's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what I had. I think I probably went red meat, but that's just me.
And it obviously would have been, definitely a win. Everything they have there is great. And so, you can't go wrong there. So whether you want something a little more lowbrow, highbrow, folks can find something that they can enjoy there.
Yeah, there you go. And so, as we always do every season, we take all the questions that were submitted, put the names in the hat, put the Google random number generator, and pull out a name. And remember, we're drawing for a half a day of fishing out west with Dustin, and the winner is Paul. Paul, I hope I get your last name. I pronounce it correctly. It's Previtali. Paul, if you'll reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'll reach out to you, Paul. And Paul, if you reach out to me, we'll get you hooked up and connected with Dustin. And, so your season is winding down out west, but you're going to be heading east, and people can go freeze with you along the alley and fish for steelhead. What's the best way for them to reach out and get on your guidebook?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just like here out west, you can reach out to me on my Instagram at Dustin James White. Be happy to chat with you about dates. We can get you on the books. Guiding with Mad River Outfitters this year, so you can also give the shop a call. Whatever suits your fancy, but would love to get you out in the alley in Northeast Ohio, Northwest Pennsylvania, and chase some Lake Erie chrome.
Yeah, and experience, true cold.
True cold. I think the last time you and I were out on the water together, there was, I'd hate to call it a monsoon, but it came down pretty quick on us. We got out there, out of there just in the nick of time, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think that we trusted you to walk back through the waterfall, but we went the long way down. And
yes, sent you back the path. I went back, traversed the waterfall, and then came back around and circled back and picked you up.
Yeah, that was some Indiana Jones stuff. I mean, dude, that was kind of crazy.
It came out of nowhere. Yeah, that was one of the gnarly ones we've had, but. You did come away with the fish of the fall on that one. There was a memorable fish. I think either the last one you got or second to last one you got was a dandy. So it capped it off pretty well before the rains came down on us. Pretty intense.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, we really did whack them, and then of course I was the only person who flew up, so I was basically by myself in the snow. Waiting to go home the next day, but made it out. And, great trip. And, I would say, I have a newfound appreciation for Tim Hortons coffee, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You get some Tim Hortons, coffee, some Timbits, and you're in good shape.
Well, listen, folks, love bringing these to you. Dustin and I love doing these together. Time to kind of shift gears depending on where you are. Steelhead's a great way to, put a pretty significant bend in your rod when it's cold outside. And as I always say, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Dustin.
Tight lines, Marvin. Thanks so much.